Good morning. I'm Gianni the Greek coming to you live straight from Las Vegas. It's Tuesday, July 23rd. We got some baseball action for you. Also, sent out my first NFL season win total, as well as 6 college football season win total. So we are already getting down in that football action. I highly recommend those that have partnered with me for 365 days, bet those. Rest assured, I know it seems like, wait, do I want to tie up that bankroll for 4, 5, 6 months? When January rolls around, when February rolls around of 2025, and we cash those, all of a sudden, that's going to be a boost to your bankroll at the perfect time, the beginning of the year of the next year. That's what happened to me at the beginning of 2024. We had a good season win totals, so that money comes in during January, February. That all those tickets start to cash. Believe me, you're going to want the money back then. That's why I used to love putting in Major League Baseball win totals when we had such a huge edge. Because even though I was tying up a lot of that money for 6 months, baseball season's so long, it came at the opportune time. Like they would cash around September, October. So it was right at the heart of football. I'd get an injection of funds, of capital into my bankroll. And that just psychologically puts you in a thought of like, let's do some damage. So, and the edge is just so great. I would not be tying up my money. And today I sent out a minus 190 favorite on a future. I would not tie up almost 2-1 favorite if the edge wasn't that great. Trust me on that. So yeah, I think we won yesterday because the accounts are higher. That's always a good thing. We're chipping away at that minus 130 units that we got to. We're now about that minus 120 range. Get under that minus 100, and then it's smooth sailing from there. I feel confident about the baseball. As excited as I am for football and all that, I'm still confident about the baseball. I love what I saw out of them today, and I'm going to give that to you guys real quickly. And like I said, we're going to try to keep these shorter so I could get to some questions and get you some actionable information. Yeah, like right now over the last 30 days, they got us down 100 units, at a minus 11% ROI. That's where we lost it on baseball. Like that's unsustainable. When I see that, am I happy we lost that money? Absolutely not. I don't like burning through cash, but I look at it like they're just holding it for me. Just like when a book gets 11-10, they know if a guy isn't plus EV, even when he wins, they know you're just holding it for him. Like they're going to get it back. You're not going anywhere with it. That's how I feel when I'm down. Like don't go spending that money. It's coming right back. That's what we do. It always comes back. So yeah, that's what has me excited. Like there's no way I could sustain that for 30 more, 40, 60 days. That's just not possible. I could throw darts and that's not going to happen, let alone the shit we're working with. So yeah, whoever's jumped on in the least week or two, please, please, please. Remember, you did this to partner up with me for a year. Think long term. I promise you, when we come around next July, you'll understand why you did it. If you follow the bet sizing, because I know where I'm going to be. And I promise you, you could get there as well. So let's dive in. Let's get you some winners real quickly. We're coming right back. This isn't a chase, but when I see them come back and bet a side and hit it 4 different ways, I got to share it because that's exactly how I gave it out. Miami on the money line. Miami on the run line. Miami, first 5 money line. Miami, first 5 run line. The way I broke it down is 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%. Now, earlier in the season, I'd go 3, 3, 3, 3. But I saw that the success wasn't there like it was the season prior. So coming into the second half of the season, we're going to ease in. I'm in no rush. I'm going to do this every single day for as long as I can, the rest of my life. I'm planning on betting. So I wait for the best bets. That's it. I'm in no rush to place bad bets. We're going to wait for the best bets. So we're going to bet Miami, money line, Miami run line, Miami first 5, Miami full game. 4 bets on that, 2, 2, 2, 2. Obviously, we bet 0.25. So that's a 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%. Total risk to bankroll 2% on 4 different bets. So we are diversifying, spreading out our risk, and betting 0.25 because we want to keep around a 20% risk of ruin, where we double our bankroll at least 8 out of 10 times and lose it less than, 2 out of 10 times. So let's go with Miami. One that I missed, going to share it with you just in case one of you guys had an opinion, and that's Milwaukee Cubs. We went over 8. That one's 8.5 everywhere. So I didn't release it to subscribers. If we went over 8.5 and it was 9, I'd give it out, because the worst we could do is push. Meaning if the groups win their over 8.5 bet, then the worst it could do is land on 9. And if we bet over 9, we push. But I never want to bet now take this over 8.5 when they went over 8, because if it lands 8, these guys push and we lose. You never want to be in that position. The worst position you want to be in is if the sharp side wins. You never want to do worse than push. So always keep that in mind, so you know whether to take the half point worse and when to do so. All right, we got a WTA. We got a tennis bet. Live tennis bet. Here we go. So you can mark the time. Are you ready? It's 9:51 Pacific time. And we are going to WTA. That is the women's side. And we are going to Lassie. That's the tournament. And we're going with Olga Danlovic. Minus 160. I'll give it out at minus 165 because the line's going to move. We know that. It's good to 170. Oh, wow. This one, see, it's not even in the system, so only you guys get it. It's not in the Wager Talk system, so this is a premium play. I bet it as if it's a 3% play. So for me, it's a 3 dimes. I bet 1x to 5x. And it's a 3% play for me. I got down at 161, actually, average. Let me confirm that I got it for the groups. Yes, but this is not going to be able to be a premium play because it's not in the Wager Talk system. And by the time I send it to their admin so that the girls could send it out, the line's going to move. And I don't want to send out a stale bet to my subscribers. I never do that. If they have at least multiple outs, they should be able to get down on everything I release, or at least 90% of it. Like, very rarely should they miss a number, especially the way I have it set up now, where Jess sends out the play as I'm betting it. All right, so that was, I'll repeat it one more time. It's WTA Lassie tournament, and we're taking Olga Danilovic over Anna Bonder. We're fading Anna Bonder, and we're taking Olga Danilovic up to minus 170, All right, let's get to some questions. All right, DT plus the points. Love it. Thanks for the content. Thank you, sir. Question. I've been doing this a long time. Loved it. First bet was Super Bowl of 84. So was that the year before New England and Chicago? Because that's the first big Super Bowl I remember betting. Like, I bet some prior to that. I know I did. But the first one that I actually had like real money for me, I was probably like in middle school. I know I was in middle school. And I had the New England Patriots over the Chicago Bears, and they lost like 45-7 or something like that. And I think I had $50 on them. And I probably didn't have like $5 to my name at the time. So, yeah, been there, my man, been there. All right. He said, I've seen just about all styles of attacking the markets. Lots of ways to do it. Lots of ways. You're more matchup based. I love it. Guys that do the X's and O's, I love watching them work. Like, especially guys that are really good at it, because that's not how I'm not good at that. So I love watching guys that really understand the X's and O's of the game and can see edges. Like Nick Kalikas can see them, and Andrew Gambis can see them when they watch a fight. Like, they can actually quantify an edge. I can't do that. So yeah, man, good for you. He said, I know that some simply think there's value in nothing, but so if a group thinks the White Sox should be plus 120 and they're plus 145, it's a bet. For me, it's not a bet. if it's a bad matchup, period. It's the same as my girl buying something she doesn't even need simply because it's on sale at a great price. I get it. I get it. Doesn't mean there's value or that it's a good bet. Just your opinion. My man, stick to what's working for you. Here's what I'm going to explain to you of how the mindset of those betting syndicates that fire crazy volume, because I've worked in those rooms. Here's what they do. Okay. They attack every plus EV situation, meaning any plus EV spot, they're going to bet it. Like if they're confident that they're getting the best of it, they're betting it. They have to bet it regardless of anything else. Like obviously if there's contradicting information, that means that it's not going to offer the value that they need. But if everything lines up, they're going to bet it. Now, the nuance is how much are they going to bet it? That's the difference. And that's where they're masters at determining how big the edge is so that they're able to bet size accordingly. So what I mean is, like when I sit down at a blackjack table, before every single hand is dealt to me, I can tell you within 0.01%, not even 0.1%, within 0.01%, what the exact edge is for the player or the house, depending on who has it and what that edge is. Before any hand comes out, I can determine that. Okay. I know the formula for that. I'm well versed in that. I could do it in real time very easily. So I know exactly what the edge is. These guys feel the exact same way about sports betting, about the market. Okay. So they're going to bet size accordingly. They're going to attack every plus EV spot like I do at blackjack. Anytime I have the edge, I'm going to increase my bet. The nuance is in how much am I going to increase it? How big is my edge? And that's where I think what you've probably gotten really good at, where you're taking the bigger edges, where you're bypassing just plus EV and looking for the highest plus EV spots. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I know guys that do that they just wait for the biggest edges and they're willing to have even a little higher risk of ruin because they're going to have less volume, bigger bet sizes. They're comfortable with that. Everybody's risk tolerance is different and everyone's comfortable with a different approach. You got to find what works for you, whether you're a trader, whether you're an investor. We all have a different mentality when it comes to money, when it comes to investments, and not like mine is right and yours is wrong, or yours is right and mine is wrong. It's what works for me, what works best for you. And like there's some guys, even if volume's the best approach, it's just not going to work for them. They're not built for it. Just like I'm not built for certain things. I couldn't be a surgeon. Like I'm not built. Like when I'm flipping around the cable channels and I see pimple popper or bad feet or some shit like that, I don't stop. I never stop. I don't want to see it. It's nothing I want to see. That shit grosses me out. I'm not built for it. So no matter what, no matter how badly or interested I am and how much I wanted to be a surgeon or a doctor, I know my limitations. I'm not built for that shit. Some people are. That's why they should be doing it. I know I'm built for trading. Now, I developed that skill set. I wasn't born with it, I don't think. I was some of it, but I developed it. But yeah, I think that's where you're going with that, DT. I think what you've been able to do is ignore the smaller edges and isolate the bigger ones. And that's produced success for you. Stick to it, bro. Stick to it. Obviously, you're able to determine those bigger edges than just any edge. Stick to them. Don't change it. Bailey Davis, my man. Ace, quick question. What do I get for a year? Here's what you get for a year. You get this guy. Nah, the truth, my man. Listen, here's what you get for a year. I partner with you for 365 days. Over a 365-day period, we're going to bet over 3,000. We're going to make over 3,000 bets. I'm going to urge you to bet size 0.25% of bankroll increments. So you're going 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1%, 1.25. So I'm going to urge you to follow that blueprint. Those that have followed that blueprint in the past have turned a profit 8 of the last 9 years with me. Those who have followed that blueprint last year increased their starting bankroll by 80%. Now, those that started with me January 1st this year are down 20% of their bankroll, 20, almost 25% of their bankroll. That's where we stand right now. So we got some making up to do, and I'm confident we're going to do it. Now, with that comes weekly steam room, at least once a week, where I come do just like this, except we go in detail over during the NFL season, every NFL game, so that even if it's a game I don't have a bet on, you may have an opinion on. I could share as much data as I have, any picks and analysis that I have, any of the betting syndicates, any other the traders stuff on that. I'm there to answer all your questions. I'm there to help you break down your bankroll correctly. You could tell me this is what my bankroll is. How should I bet it? I'm there to adjust your bankroll throughout the year. I'm accountable to you, meaning you don't just buy a year and then I get your money and you just get an email for the next 365 days. No. I have to come face you every single week in that steam room and go over my results. Last 7 days, last 30 days, last 365 days, and where I am since I started. And there's no lying. There's no bullshit. And numbers don't lie. I'm down this year. I face my guys every single week. I tell them this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. This is where you should be. If you're not, why? Let's figure that out. Let's get you back on track. That's what a year with me is. That's what a year with me is. This is like a little taste. I said I would even only pick one or two, but a couple good ones. I'll kill some time today. Hey, Gianni, Alex Long, thank you, sir. In the times where you have slipped up and negative EV gamble, do you have any advice to just look past and forget? The best question of the day, Alex Long. Question of the day, sir. Question of the fucking day. Love this one. You need to wake up one morning, Alex, honestly, and say, that's it. I'm done. That's it. I'm finished. I will never, ever lose another dollar to a bookmaker by being a square. This will never happen to me again. Not that I'll never lose, but I will never piss my money away. So any hole that I've dug, I need to cover up right now. It's over. That hole's covered. I'm not going to fill it back up. That money's gone. That money's lost. Forget about it. Hi, baby. This is the worst dog in the world. It's the ugliest dog in the world as well. It's my girl's poodle. You got to see this thing. Why would someone buy a dog like this? If you knew how much money this thing cost as well. Yeah, it's got a diaper. I got to tell you, that's another story all on its own. Say hello, baby. This is probably the ugliest dog you've ever seen. Poor thing. Sorry, pal. Sorry. Okay. Now, where was I? Shit. See, this is why when we're live, XRP is down 6% today. Who didn't know that was coming? All right. So now let me get back to this. What I was talking about, the negative EV for my man, Alex Long. You have to just say, that's it. I told you when I woke up one day, probably 36, 37, 38 years old. And I realized that I've been hustling on the streets my entire life. That I've been working with the sharpest people in the fucking world for the last 20 plus years. Like that, if I could have mapped out my career to be a winning trader, I would have taken this road and would have worked with the people that I got the chance to work with and network with. Like, I'm so lucky for that. And all that came by blind luck and environment and where I was born, that kind of shit. So what I'm saying is, I woke up one day and realized I did all that for nothing. That I had access to the best information. I had the ability to make money doing nothing else but betting on sports. That I had the edge proven, and yet I'd had nothing. Almost 40 years old, and all I had for it was a bunch of history, great memories, good experiences. Sure, I did a lot of crazy shit here in Vegas. I traveled the world. I got some good fucking memories out of it, but that's it. I had no security. I had no long-term freaking comforts. Nothing. And I said, that's it. I'm not going to win that back. All the money I lost, all the money I spent, that's gone. That's the height. That's the education. That's the education, Alex. Up until yesterday, that's what you paid for. Mine, I got a Ivy League education. I'm Harvard educated. I think I probably got my doctorate at Oxford. Oh, I even had to travel overseas. That's how much money I've lost. Okay. It's okay. You got to be aware, self-aware, and you have to be honest with yourself. And even though I knew how to win, even though I had the ability to win, numbers don't lie. I didn't have money to reflect I was a winner. None of my actions reflected that of a winning fucking sports bettor. So why did I deserve to have money? But I woke up that morning and I said, never again. That's it. That's the end. That's the end. That's it. I'm going to save up this bankroll and I'm going to do it the right way. And that's what I did. And I've never looked back. I swore on my father's grave, something I do very rarely. And I never looked back. I haven't looked back since. Sometimes I've been tested, my demons, just like everybody else's. I have them too. And I've been tested and I've made some mistakes, but I bounce right back. I correct, not repeat now. Correct, not repeat. Correct, not repeat. Correct, not repeat. That's all I keep telling myself. We all got to get better. We all have to get better. But that's what you got to do, Alex. You got to let it go. You have to let it go. We spend too much time regretting the past and fearing the future. Live in today. Live in the now. Where are you now? That money's gone, bro. Let it go. You can't recover it. You can't recover it. What are you going to chase it? That's gone. You didn't protect it. You deserve to lose it. Like I deserve to lose mine. Let's change that now. Let's start protecting our money. Let's start making the bookmaker work for our money. Or else let's not bet. Let's not gamble. Let's start saving our money and investing it. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be a gambler. If you don't want to be a winning sports bettor, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Be a winning freaking investor. Do the right things by yourself and your family. If you don't do it for anything else, do it for you. Do it for yourself, bro. Do it for you. I swear to you, do it for you. Not for me, not for anyone. Save for you. Don't wait for the score. The score is not coming. I hope it does, Alex, but it's not. The score isn't coming. The day that I was waiting for the 100 grand score. Like, dude, I put 20 years. That's what I was thinking. I put more into this than anybody. I put blood, sweat, and tears into this shit. I flew from freaking Philly, from Greece to Vegas. I put more work into learning this trade than anyone I know. I'm owed this. The slot machine owes me a jackpot. That's how I felt. Like I'm owed this. They don't owe me shit. The world don't owe me shit. The casino don't owe me shit. The sports book don't owe me shit. No one owes me shit. I only owe myself. So do it for yourself. Do it for yourself, Alex. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for yourself. No one else gives a shit. And you have to, what it's going to have to do is you're going to have to wake up and realize that you're in control. Nobody else is. Nobody else cares. No one else is going to care. And they shouldn't have to. This is on you, bro. You got this. Let that shit go. It's over. Because 5 years from now, if you do the right thing today, from today on, 5 years from now, you're going to look back and that shit that you're worried about now that's gone is going to be a drop in the bucket. 2 tears in a bucket, motherfuck it. That's it. That's what you're going to be thinking. That's what you're going to be thinking. I promise you. It's just it's so new to you. It's so recent. That's why that money stings. 10 years from now, that money's not going to matter. Like the money I lost in the 90s, in the 2000s, doesn't matter now. What matters is what did I do from 2010 on that made my life now easier? What did I do from 2015 on that's going to make my life easier 5 years from now? What are you doing now in 2024 that your 2030 self's going to thank you for, that your 2035 self's going to thank you for, that your 2040 self's going to thank you for, if you're blessed with that many years? What are you doing today for that to thank you? Man, you guys got me going off on these rants because I care for you. I do. I don't want to see you go down this path the wrong way. My man. Great stuff. Would I say a bankroll of 10 grand is minimum to purchase my year-long subscription and follow the blueprint? Listen, if last year, if someone started with 10 grand They increased starting bankroll by 80%. So they made $8,000 on that. Let's say they spent $1,500 on the subscription, and let's say they spent another $1,500 on their own expenses, $100 a month, $150 a month on their internet, their time to place the bets, what have you. So let's say $3,000 of that is their overhead. Every business has an overhead, right? Insurance, payroll, our rent, our hell. There's so much when you have a business. Ours is that overhead. Okay, so let's say 3,000 of it went there. It's still an increase of 50% of $5,000. So a $10,000 business made $5,000 clear. There's no businesses that you're going to start tomorrow that you could make that in a year. Like, it's so freaking rare. We did that. And I'm confident that we're going to do it again. And more importantly, there were years past where we did 2x that, 3x that, 4x that. But we followed the blueprint. We had patience, and we overcame negative runs like this. This is what happens. It happens every year. Every year that I had a big year, I went through 1, 2, 3 months of losing. Because even if you're going to win 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, that means you're still going to lose 3 out of 10. So out of every 12 months, 4 of them are probably going to be losses, even if you have a great year. Just think of that. If you can't overcome those 4 losing months, you're not going to ever prosper from the 7 that won. That's what I want for you guys. All right. Last but not least. All right, Chris Lawrence. With the market and economy crash coming in a couple of years, what will the impact be on sports and sports betting? Great question. Great question. Love you too. Love you even more. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Here's what I think. I think shit's going to get really bad over the next 6 months. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have to create some kind of chaos over these next few months to try to implement a change. The change is going to come in one of 2 forms. It's going to come in the form of a central bank digital currency, CBDC. You're hearing Trump saying no CBDC, no CBDC. Believe me, the elites are pushing for the CBDC. Once that happens, they will have control of everybody's money. Once that happens, they have control of everybody. That's when the social scores come into effect, like happening in China, where your movement could be restricted, your purchases could be restricted, your flights could be restricted. That sounds authoritarian, right? It sounds like it can never happen, right? If you told someone in 1990 that they were going to have to take their shoes off to get on an airplane, they would have told you you're freaking crazy. What are you talking about? If you would have told someone in 1999 that for the rest of their lives, they're going to have to take their shoes off to walk on an airplane, they would have told you were insane. What are you smoking? Right? Look how that's happened. TSA. Just think of that. Just think of TSA at the airport. That was supposed to be short term, right? To take care of terrorism. Here we are, 24 years later. We still all have to go through TSA, don't we? Social Security. That was created as a net to help people during wartime, during that depression, during the First World War or the Second World War. That's what it was created for. It was supposed to be temporary. It isn't. It's permanent. That's what I think is going to happen. We're going to see some kind of chaos erupt so they could implement a CBDC. Once that happens, they have full control. Once they have full control, that's it. Game over. Checkmate. Checkmate. Now, as far as the market's crashing, here's how you could defend against that. Self-custody, number 1, which means you have to have gold and you have to have crypto. You have to. You have to in today's world. You got to have the American dollar. You have to have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you have to have precious metals, gold and silver. That's it. You want to defend yourself, that's what you have to do. You have to do it. You can't wait. You have to do it. Now, as far as what's going to happen with sports betting, I think it's only going to keep growing. And when the markets crash and the economy crashes, I don't think it's going anywhere. Why? People need their vices. They need their escapes. During the recession, what do they say? alcohol, drugs, gambling. Those are all recession-proof businesses. In fact, when people are more depressed, when things are worse, they do even more of that shit. So I don't think the crash of the economy, the crash of the markets, or even the crash of the United States dollar is going to stop sports betting and gambling from continuing to grow. Remember, they were rolling bones, caveman time. Gambling's in us, baby. The first dice were found in prehistoric times. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. No matter how bad shit gets, people are going to go to their vices. That's just how it is. And gambling's a vice. Gambling's a vice. That's just the truth of it. That's the truth of it, unfortunately. Now, again, listen to me carefully because I love you guys. Please, 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 please. If you never take any piece of advice, any other piece of advice from me, just do this. Do this. You pay your cell bill every month, right? Every single one watching has a cell phone. And you make sure that cell phone's paid for every month because you need that. You can't live without it, right? So there's no way you're going without it. Well, you need to bill yourself every month too. I don't care if it's $50. I don't care if it's $100 or if it's $200 or if it's $500, $1,000, what you can afford. And you bill yourself. You pay yourself first before your car payment, before your insurance payment, before your freaking cell phone. You pay your future payment first. That's your future. And what you do with that is you break that shit up. You go 75. I would go, honestly, I'd go 25% cash, 25% crypto, 50% precious metals for right now. That's it. Don't get more deeper than that with real estate and art and all those things. Just start there. Start there every single month. Do you see what's happening with the BRICS country? Brazil, Russia, India, China. They are getting together and they are creating a new basket of currency to back oil. They no longer want the petrodollar. They don't want the US dollar. They want it backed by gold. That's why all the central banks around the world are buying up all the gold, buying up all the silver. We will be in a silver squeeze very soon over the next couple years. Every freaking cell phone, every lithium battery, every EV, every what are those solar panels? They all need silver. So it's not just a store of value. It's also a precious metal that's used. It's an industrial metal as well. So load up some gold, load up some silver. Prepare yourself. Your 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old self will thank you. Will thank you. If you don't, you have no one else to blame. And guess what? I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, you still win. You still win. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to have some shit saved up for you. So you can't lose in this situation. Taking this advice, you're guaranteed to win. But I can't make you do it, bro. You got to do it yourself. You got to do it yourself. $10, $20. Start somewhere. Don't wait for that score. That's what I was doing. I was waiting for 100 grand. When I make 100 grand, I'm going to start doing it the right way. I know how many of you out there are saying, once I save up 10,000, I'm going to start betting the right way. If you can't manage $1,000 bankroll successfully, you can't manage $100,000 bankroll successfully. Understand that. If you can't make money sports betting with $500, you will not make it with $500,000. That much is guaranteed. Nothing's going to change. You have to start being able to win with small money before you even consider big money. You guys got me going off. We're 35 minutes in when this was done at 12 minutes. I love you guys. Smash that like button for me. I'm going to check too. Hit some comments and let's get these growing.